So I'm Brenda Greiner. I'm the director of the Freshman Resource Center. It's dedicated to helping all first-year students and sophomores and juniors and seniors who also happen to come into the office, just help them with their first-year studies and with whatever else they might need connection with, as far as on campus or in the city of Portland. We see well over half of the freshmen in the course of the year. We part of them, some come to us because of struggling. We got three ways that people come to see us. One, we do specific outreach. Like I will do outreach to people who I know have more challenging academic programs. Nursing, for example, because they have to maintain a particular GPA, and they don't get a lot of they don't get a lot of grade feedback early on to know what that is. Engineers, because of what they have to do with the 4-credit calc and the 4-credit physics. Then we particularly reach out to students who are undeclared because they feel surrounded by everybody else who knows what they want to do, and so we'll reach out to those folks. And we'll find from those people that there might be some struggling going on. Then the second wave of students that we'll meet with is when we actually do get feedback that they are struggling, as far as getting grades back or their first test or something like that, and then they'll come in, and then we'll see them. Understanding time. People hear time and then how fast it goes. The students here, you need to manage your time, and you need to study this many hours outside of class, and it just seems so daunting. But a lot of the things that I will help a student do is figure out what time looks like and how time is different from high school to college. In that in high school, you were in class probably 30 hours a week, and it was structured for you. And then you probably over the course of the week studied maybe 10 to 15 hours. So you were a high school student for 45 hours a week. And like I said, 30 of those hours were structured for you. Now we bring you to college and we say go to class, and you only go to class 15 to 16 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then you just add on like what you did in high school, like the 15 hours of studying, and now you're only being a college student for 30 hours. Well, there's still another 15 hours that's unaccounted for. So I think time is probably one of the biggest issues, and the discipline, like how you have to be your own self-regulator, where you were told exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it in high school, and now you have to manage, all of that on your own. They stress out about finding friends. They may have had the same friends for the last 4 years. They may have had the same friends for the last 12 years, and it was a big decision to decide to go where they're going. And so they want to know that they're going to fit in, find their friends, find people to hang out with. Actually, I think what they stress out about the most is, who am I going to sit with at the Commons to eat?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
right? Okay, so that's one of the first things that they stress out about. And we do things to help, like we do things to help people meet each other. Hello Freshman workshops. That's a structured way to meet people that are also going to be in the same study groups. I think the second thing that they stress out about is then when they get that first grade back that doesn't look like what they're used to getting, and that all of the weight of the world comes down on them as far as like what they think that's going to, how they think that's going to affect them, what they think it's going to do. Dramatic things. I've had freshmen say from one grade in their freshman year, I'm not going to become a doctor because of this C in this English class or this F. And I'm like, no. That's not what this is about. So it's just about. I think they stress out about that, and also like, oh my gosh, my parents, they've never seen me get a grade like this before. What do I do?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like looking in the mirror. Like, I've never seen this. This has never been reflected back to me. Like, what do I do with this? So I think they stress out about that too, and it's the fact that if they haven't experienced that, yeah, then they don't know what to do with it. So we try to help them with that as well.
Awesome.
First thing I do is tell them it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on like each person is, like there's not a formula of like freshman sitting in front of you struggling in biology 205. Oh, this is clearly what they need. There's not a formula. It's about finding out the individual situation for that student, and then finding out what their past experience has been, and then figuring out like what is, it's figuring out what the best thing is that they need to hear at that moment to help them get through whatever this piece is. So one of the things that I'll do is I'll ask the student, I was like, okay, do you remember when you went in your freshman year of high school? And they'll say, yeah. I says, well, was that really easy? Well, no. Like they will remember some time in their life. And I might even ask them, like, if they were an athlete or if they are a piano player or whatever kind of, if they've had something that they're very good at, I will ask them to remember what it was like when they first started it. And was it difficult? And how did they get through it? And so they can remember that they've been through a difficult thing before, a stressful thing before, a challenging thing before that they're really good at now. And it kind of said, like, you're there again. Like, yeah, you had 12 years of academics, but you're in a totally different environment, and acknowledging that can make a huge difference, especially because, like, academically, in high school, those people who taught you were trained to be teachers. They were trained to teach you. Yeah. Now these people, they're experts in their discipline, and they may not have necessarily had a class on how to teach you. So there's so much adjustment. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is just to find a thing that for that individual student, like if they, depending on whatever the struggle is, and help them see where they have faced the struggle before, and that they can make it through this one. Get them laughing.
There you go. That's a good one.
I get them laughing, and where is it? And I say crying is okay, and I say, I think acknowledging the stress level is an important piece. Just as far as when we take a look at, like, everything that they've gone through. One of the things I say to students is I'll say, okay, let's think about what September looked like. September, you had to figure out what the buildings were. You had to figure out how the commons worked. You had to write your first paper. You had to take your first test. You had to figure out how your roommate, what it was like living with your roommate. Because a lot of times people think, like, this whole semester, like first semester stuff, this first semester is just really like, oh my gosh, it's just like, it was the hardest, most awful thing. And then I remind them in January when they come back, all of that transition stuff that they had to go through the first month, they don't experience any of that in January. Because they know where all the buildings are. They know how the roommate works. They know how the commons works. They know, they have so much more knowledge that then it's such a different experience in that second semester. If you saw the Beacon article last week, it said about 1 in 10 freshmen leave. At the end of fall semester, we typically lose between 2 and 3%. So depending on the size of the class, that might be between 15 to 20 students. And then we lose some students over spring semester. Like, sometimes we'll lose students because they might have a medical leave, so they'll leave in the middle of the semester or something like that. And then over the summer, we'll either have people who choose not to register for the fall, or people who cancel the registration over the summer. So generally, we retain 90%, or we lose about 10%. And the reasons why people leave might be for financial reasons. Like, somebody might have changed financially, and they might say this, that I can't do this. They might leave for academic reasons, and academic reasons might be that they're not performing the standard that they want to. Academic reasons might be that they figured out, oh, actually, I really want to major in this, and I had to come here to figure that out, and you don't offer it, so I'm going to go someplace else. And they might also leave for fit reasons, because sometimes people might make a choice. When I ask students, like, why did you choose UP? And they're like, they gave me the most money, or like my entire family went here, or it was close, I didn't want to go far away from home. But the fit reasons, people might leave because they are, it's funny, people say it's too small, it's too big, it's too Catholic, it's not Catholic enough, it's too much in the city, it's not enough in the city. But so, like, there's some kind of a fit piece, like they may not have known, like they may not have known some component about the place and they didn't know it until they got here. Right. I'll have students who'll say they'll be homesick. Homesickness is a big deal, as far as, like, missing home or family and or the dog, like some component, or weather. And so, like, I had a student. Big one. Yeah, the weather's a big one, right? Yeah. Some students they love it. They'll say, like, I have students that come from really hot, dry places. They're like, I love the rain. I don't want to be here. But the weather, I've had a student say, like, I wanted to get away from home, but I didn't need to come this far. Yeah. So, but I think sometimes the homesickness piece is a matter of also people, if I ask them, like, did you challenge yourself? Because, like I said, like people didn't have to make friends so much, like, they didn't, like, when they had their friends for the last 4 years or last 12 years, like, to be able to find your place here, you have to be able to put yourself out there. Yeah. Like, people's friend-making muscles are atrophied. And so they have to figure out how to make friends. So you ask someone, like, how do you make friends? you know. So
Yeah.
anyway, but that's a little bit about why they might leave, why they might transfer out.
Okay.
Yeah.